What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, February 5th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:25 Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to update you guys on the latest with Iran. So right now, this afternoon, we have U.S. nuclear forces on very high alert. We have three nuclear war command and control planes up in the air over the continental United States. These are the Boeing E-6B Mercury planes, also known as TACAMO. And these planes are responsible for communicating with submerged nuclear-armed submarines. So three of those up in the air right now, and then also two B-52 Stratofortresses over Louisiana. So for some reason, our nuclear forces are on high alert. I think it's related to the situation with Iran. And also, I wanted to share something interesting with you about President Trump's schedule for today. So this is the White House schedule, Thursday, February 5th. And here you can see, first of all, Trump has an intelligence briefing, or he had, at 11 a.m., and it lasted probably for several hours because it's not showing any end time for this intelligence briefing. So very long intelligence briefing that started at 11 a.m. in the Oval Office. Okay, intelligence briefing in the Oval Office. No set end time. Typically, these intelligence briefings last for 1 or 2 hours at the most, but the fact that they have no end time is very concerning. Also, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, local time in Washington, D.C. tonight, Trump is going to be making an announcement at the South Court Auditorium, and the White House press pool will be there. So I don't know what that announcement is going to be. Is it going to be related to Iran? There's supposed to be talks tomorrow in Oman between the U.S. and Iran. There were some mixed signals yesterday about these talks that are scheduled for tomorrow. Some sources were saying that the U.S. pulled out of the talks. Some sources were saying that the talks were still on because the Arab countries pressured the U.S. to continue with the talks, even though the Iranians backed out of any talks about ballistic missiles, proxies, or protesters. They only want to talk about nuclear. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but some kind of announcement at 7 p.m. Eastern Time from the South Court Auditorium. I'm going to see if I can stream that live in my continuous 24/7 live stream. So tune in to my live stream at 7 p.m. I'm going to try to get that up on the screen for you guys, and we'll go through it together. And earlier today, two ships were seized in the Persian Gulf by the Iranian IRGC forces. 15 foreigners were detained. This was reported by the Iranian state media. So 2 days ago, an IRGC small gunboat started harassing a U.S. oil tanker, which was then rescued by an American destroyer. And then today, two ships of unknown size were seized by the IRGC. So this is definitely not going to help Iran in their negotiations with the U.S. And Iran's army spokesperson warned that U.S. military bases in the region are highly vulnerable, stating that Iran has easy access to American positions and is fully prepared to defend itself against any military scenario. Wow. And the Iranian top general said today, "We have strengthened our deterrence capability by modernizing ballistic missiles in all their technical aspects." And this morning, the U.S. Transportation Command, or TRANSCOM, began the mass movement of U.S. ground troops to the Middle East. Numerous 747 aircraft configured for troop movement began taking off from the continental U.S. towards Europe, with final destinations showing places like Kuwait. At least 450 people per flight. A passenger-configured Boeing 747 operated by U.S. Transcom through Atlas Air tail number N482MC with 453 seats departed Baltimore with a routing through Ramstein Air Base before continuing to Kuwait. Numerous other flights are ongoing. Wow, so this is very serious, guys. Massive buildup of U.S. ground forces. Maybe they're going to try to seize control of Tehran, and they're not just thinking about airstrikes, but they're going to send troops on the ground to make sure that no one's left after the airstrikes in Tehran. And Middle Eastern officials involved with de-escalating tension between Iran and the U.S. expressed pessimism on the outcome of Friday's talks between the U.S. and Iran in Oman, saying that military confrontation is inevitable and that there will not be any concrete outcomes from the talks. Interesting. And Israel now assesses that the chance of an agreement on Friday is very slim. And Iranian state media reported that the Iranian armed forces have entered a maximum state of alert now. And Fox News reported yesterday that the Pentagon is now discussing a response to Iran's provocations in the Strait of Hormuz in the past couple of days. So with the small gunboat that harassed a U.S. oil tanker, and then they sent that drone towards the aircraft carrier that's in the area. And Israeli Channel 13 reported that the U.S. is not preparing one or two surgical strikes. They are massing their forces in the Middle East for a full-scale major military campaign against Iran. And the advisor to the commander of Iran's IRGC said American soldiers will be legitimate targets for Iran if the U.S. strikes Iran. And the Israeli Broadcasting Authority says Israel believes that an American attack on Iran is imminent. And Israeli Channel 12, citing a U.S. official, reported Trump now supports taking military action against Iran. And Iran's chief of staff said yesterday that Iran changed its military doctrine from defense to offense and has adopted a policy of asymmetrical warfare. And according to Axios, at least 9 Arab countries urged the U.S. to continue the negotiations on Friday in Oman. So they were begging us to go there and talk with Iran, and it's not going to turn out good. And Vice President Vance spoke about Iran yesterday in an interview with Megyn Kelly. He said Trump will try to get what he can through non-military means, but if he feels that the military option is the only one, he is going to choose that option. Wow. And according to open source intelligence, at least 108 U.S. military flights have either arrived at or en route for bases in the Middle East. So very crazy, guys. 108 U.S. military flights in the past couple days going to the Middle East or plan to go to the Middle East. And Al Jazeera claims to have obtained the U.S.-Iran deal framework that was proposed by Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt. Number 1, Iran agrees to commit to 0 uranium enrichment for 3 years and then agrees to under 1.5% enrichment after that. Number 2, its stockpile of highly enriched uranium would be transferred to a third country. Number 3, Iran agrees to not transfer weapons and technologies to its regional non-state allies. Number 4, Iran pledges to not initiate the use of ballistic missiles. Number 5, Iran and the U.S. agree to a non-aggression pact. Interesting. And the U.S. has apparently asked Israel to refrain from attacking Iran while negotiations are ongoing. A senior Israeli official says coordination between the two countries is unprecedented, with a quote-unquote insane number of Israeli military officials visiting the U.S. and vice versa. This was reported by Israel's Ynet News. And the German armed forces have significantly reduced their presence in northern Iraq due to the escalation of tensions between the U.S. and Iran. This was reported by Der Spiegel. And an explosion occurred on a large cargo ship in the Baltic Sea earlier today that was en route from Belgium to Russia. The gigantic container ship was sailing through the Baltic Sea when an explosion occurred in the engine room. The ship that was en route to Russia sails under the flag of Liberia. The explosion occurred on Wednesday evening. According to Starboard Maritime Intelligence Service, the last signal about the container ship's position was received around 7:30 a.m. on February 4th. It then disappeared from radar, the newspaper reports. The explosion triggered a large fire that raged on board for several hours before it could be extinguished by rushing rescue vessels. Rescue ships and icebreakers arrived from Russia from St. Petersburg to help the crew, the newspaper reported. The container ship has now been towed to the port of St. Petersburg. No damage to the hull and no fuel leak have been recorded. On Thursday morning, it is said to have arrived at the Russian port. The ship's crew is primarily citizens of Asian countries, and the captain is Russian. Wow, so potentially some kind of sabotage there. And Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, said he would be removing 700 ICE agents out of Minnesota. Interesting. So maybe they're trying to sort of reduce the tensions there in Minnesota. So they're pulling out 700 ICE agents from Minnesota, but I still think another 2,000 are going to remain. But that's still quite a big pullback. Very interesting. And the president of Ukraine commented about Trump. He said, Putin is currently only afraid of Trump. That's a fact. If President Trump knows that Putin is afraid of him, then he doesn't have to accept all the conditions set by the Russian president. It's Putin who is afraid of Trump, not the other way around. And thank God, President Trump knows he has leverage through the economy, through sanctions, through weapons. So interesting comments by Zelensky. And speaking of Trump, I want to play this clip that I found that I thought was interesting about Bill Clinton, Trump defending Bill Clinton, saying that he likes Bill Clinton. And I want to remind you guys that Trump was a huge donor to the Clinton family, to Bill Clinton's presidential elections, to Hillary Clinton's Senate elections. He was actually at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. So the Trump family and the Clinton family are very close, okay? So, but I want to just play this for you. Take a listen.
But it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me, he understood me. But it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like 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 Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me, he understood me.
So very interesting. And I wanted to share this interesting clip of J.D. Vance in his interview with Megyn Kelly yesterday, Vice President Vance. He mentioned New World Order 3 times in this 23-second clip. I want to just play this for you.
Definitely, I think a new world order. I think the president has sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. There's a new world order in globalization and the way that we invest in our economy versus, foreign supply chains. There's a new world order, and that the president is willing to shake up some old alliance structures. I mean, NATO, I think, is much different because of the president's leadership than it was 10 years ago. It was sort of coasting. It was effectively a protectorate of the United States.
My mistake, 4 times he mentions the New World Order in 20 seconds. Listen.
Definitely, I think a new world order. Definitely, I think a new world order. Definitely, I think a new world order. I think the president has sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. Sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. Sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. To it. There's a new world order in trade. There's a new world order in globalization. Trade. There's a new world order in globalization. There's a new world order in globalization. There's a new world order in globalization. There's a new world order in globalization and the way that we invest in our economy versus, foreign supply chains. There's a new world order, and that the president is. There's a new world order, and that the president is. There's a new world order, and.
So, guys, I just wanted to give you something to ponder about. You can make up your own mind about why he says New World Order so much. But that's it for now. I'll try to get back here at 7 p.m. to cover Trump's announcement. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. Make sure you're following my 24/7 live stream. I have our U.S. Nuclear Forces radio frequencies piped into the live stream so you can hear the nuclear codes as they're being transmitted in real time. And I will be doing a live update later on tonight, probably around 10 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.